Hello everybody and welcome to the Blackmagic Hyperdeck tutorial. This video details what the Hyperdeck is and how we use it here at Life.Church. So to start with, what is it? Well, it's a playback device. We can play back Switch messages or Sunday messages on this device. We also have the ability to record, but we'll talk about workflow in a bit. Let's dive into the simple stuff. Let's talk about powering on the device. The great thing is you don't have to. The device should stay powered on so that we can push files to it overnight. If your device doesn't have any power indicators or lights in the front, we can check that the Furman power supply in the video rack is turned on. If it is, we can check the power connection in the back of the Hyperdeck. Let's take a look at some of the buttons on the front. We have play, stop, rewind, fast forward, record, and skip. Most of these are self-explanatory except for skip. And skip allows you to skip to the end or beginning of a file. We also have the input button. This allows us to select the input that we're recording on the Hyperdeck. This is only for an emergency basis as directed by the AVL team. Now we have a couple more buttons. We have the menu and set buttons. We'll use this to access different menu settings. One of those is dealing with the hard drives. The Hyperdeck drives store files and recordings. It's important to note that these drives are additive, meaning once the first drive is full, it starts recording onto the second drive. The drives are not selectable. When a file is playing back on the drive and the drive is in use, you'll see the drive turn green. Let's say we need to format the drives in order to clear out all the processing power of the unit. We'll select Menu, scroll to Storage, click Set, scroll to Format Media, and click Set again. Click Set to select the drive. Scroll to exFAT and click Set. Scroll to Format. Click Set to select Format. When formatting a drive, you'll see the drive turn red. Once it's done, you'll see a green check mark that says Complete. You can then click the menu button twice to go back to the preview screen. So let's walk through a couple scenarios. It's Sunday morning at 8:30, and we're going to come in and queue up our message. We're going to use the skip button to do this. We want to make sure that we're on the right file and in the right spot. So watch the message intro just to be sure. There should only be one file on the drive, so we're just double checking that we only have one file. Once we're at our message start, we're done. If you remember from our switcher training, when we hit the message hotkey, it'll automatically play Resi first, and 2 seconds later, it'll play the Hyperdeck. Let me give you another scenario. Let's say the Hyperdeck doesn't play with the message hotkey. There's a button on the front of the unit labeled REM, which means remotely fire. In order for the Hyperdeck to talk to the switcher, this button has to be enabled. We'll give you one last scenario. Let's say you come in on a Sunday morning and there's no file. Make sure to reach out to the broadcast team on the 911 channel. So that's it. That's everything you need to know about a Hyperdeck. Thanks for tuning in.